Hi, and welcome to the VetStory podcast, home to the most outrageous stories told in vet med. It's raw, it's unfiltered, unscripted, unedited, just raw, off-the-cuff stories. I'm your host, Reece Generelli, and if you're in the vet med space in any capacity, and you have a story like this, I want to hear it. So get ready to have a laugh, eyes on the road if you're driving, or close the doors to your office. Sit back and enjoy the show. And we are back with round 2 with Dr. Joydine Green, once again from BC, British Columbia in Canada, the once upon a time Bobby Clarke doppelganger. If you have missed the previous one, you want to check that out. But here she is again. How you doing, Joydine?
I'm doing great, thanks. Yourself?
I'm good, darling. I'm good. Thanks for coming back.
No problem.
Did I get that right? The once upon a time Bobby Clarke doppelganger?
Yep, absolutely. I am definitely Bobby Clarke doppelganger.
But not still?
Still, oh well, as long as my bridge stays in. Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. For those who have not heard the previous podcast, just tell the audience a little bit about yourself again.
Absolutely. So I'm a Western College of Veterinary Medicine graduate from 2006. I own and operate Green Mobile Veterinary Services, which is a mixed animal general practice veterinary clinic in Prince George, British Columbia.
Nice, nice, nice. And I guess we can sort of say what prompted this second round is that you are currently, I think currently or finished writing a book.
I am currently working on writing a book.
Fantastic. And in that book, there is a story that you wanted to share, yes? Like a little prequel.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's going to be a chapter called Gizmo the Opera Singer.
Nice. Love it. Love it. So what can you tell us without giving it too much away or give it all away? It's only a portion of the book, but what can you tell us?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the first things to note is that yeah, I've been practicing for 19 years, which doesn't seem like a long period of time, but the reality is that veterinary medicine has changed quite significantly in that time period. And like everything from when I first started, I used a pager to get my emergency calls. Now now we use the Animal Health Link, which is a veterinary technician triage service to answer our calls. But another component that has changed quite dramatically is the approach to pigs. So when I first graduated, pigs definitely firmly fell into the food animal category. I don't live in a high density commercial pig area, so what we would see was a lot of backyard meat pigs. People would pick up wiener pigs and feed them and then slaughter them. We had a couple of clients that did sows and breeding boars. So you basically were exposed to the pigs if they had farrowing difficulties, or if a client wanted to bring you a 600-pound boar to castrate him prior to sending him to slaughter, which always was an exciting challenge. And that's probably a whole nother story in itself. But the now we've seen the transition away from food animal category to firmly into the pet category. So a lot of what we see is pigs coming in for feet trimming because they're living in the house. They're just not getting the natural wear of those feet. So they have a tendency to get very long in the toes, which can lead to lameness problems. So one of these patients is Gizmo. He's a potbelly pig that weighs about 300 pounds. So if you can just imagine an oversized Great Dane that is quite a bit rounder, much lower to the ground, and far more stubborn, it gives you a pretty good picture of Gizmo. So the first time that I met Gizmo, we were headed over to the house to give him his semi-annual hoof trim. And in my mind, the plan was very simple. I was going to go into the house, sedate him, give it 20 to 30 minutes, and he'd be out. I'd trim his feet. I'd wipe my hands and I'd say, "Here's your bill. Thanks for the payment. I'll see you later. I'll see you in 6 months." But Gizmo definitely had other ideas. As soon as I walked in, he was on to me. He's like, "Ding ding, alarm bells are going off. The veterinarian is here." So you would be shocked at how quickly a 300-pound pig can move and what small spaces he can wedge himself into. He was under the furniture, over the furniture, up the stairs, down the stairs. He had basically ripped up the living room by the time we finally got him snagged with the pig snare so that we could restrain him that way and do his pedicure. So the next time I came for him, the pig snare was not an option because pigs are very smart. They don't get enough reward for how intelligent they actually are, but he didn't want any part of that pig snare. So that time we had to confine him into the closet, which was about 6 feet wide and 18 inches deep. So we wrangled him in the closet while he screamed, and I'm sure that I will have early onset deafness because of Gizmo being stuck in the closet with me. But we figured out a way to roll him onto his back, give him some very aggressive belly scratches, and get his feet done without anybody being maimed too badly. And then the next time that we came, the owners are different, if you put it nicely. Probably a little bit too much of British Columbia's flower, provincial flower is used in that house. So we knocked on the door and nobody came. It took about 5 minutes for somebody to finally come to the door, and it was like a mid 20 something year old man wearing a towel around his waist, smelling a little skunky of marijuana. And
I was just about to say, so is that a nice way of saying that everyone was high?
yeah, yeah. So he's kind of like looking at us dumbfounded, like, what are you doing here? I want to be in bed kind of thing. And we're like, we're here to trim Gizmo's feet. And he's like, took a couple seconds to finally realize what we're doing while we're all trying to keep our eyes above shoulder level. So, anyways, he says Gizmo's in the backyard. So I thought, okay, fine, this is great. This won't be a problem. So we climb over the fence into the backyard using the stack of winter tires that's there to get into the yard. And sure enough, Gizmo's out there. We've got the normal variety of kids' toys. You've got your trampoline, the sandbox, the play structure, and then there is a penis cake pan underneath the trampoline. So this
Sorry, hang on, hang on. Let's go back. It's a what?
penis cake pan.
I don't. Should a normal person know what this is?
It, I guess if you're like 30 something midlife crisis woman or recent divorcee, you would know what a penis shaped cake pan is because that is your party cake at those events.
Okay, got it. Okay, you spoke pretty slowly for me to get that drop. Okay, got it. I got it now. All right, continue.
So, like it kind of makes you take a little step back when you see it because you're like, okay, you've had your party and now you're just like, let's throw the penis cake pan into the backyard so that the kids can use it as their new sandbox tool.
Got it. Got it. Got it. And okay, great. I got it.
You know, you just learn to not really be too shocked by these things. You just roll with it. So we caught Gizmo and we got him restrained. And as he was showing his disdain for the pedicure that we were giving him, and I thought we did a nice job. We rasped off all the calluses that he had and painted his toenails a nice red color. He was a fancy looking fellow after his pedicure, but he was screaming so loudly that he sounded like a professional opera singer that multiple neighbors came to the fence to find out what we were doing. Somebody in the neighborhood videoed, or yeah, they videoed Gizmo screaming his head off and posted it to their local Prince George neighborhood Facebook page and said, "What the heck is happening in the neighborhood? It sounds like somebody's being killed." And the comments were immense. Like they had 100 comments on this Facebook post in about 5 minutes. And finally somebody said, "Oh, I think the vet is over at Gizmo's house giving him a hoof."
I, I might try to find this little Facebook page and see if this video is still there.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of a snippet of the chapter on Gizmo and his regular pedicures.
All right, so I got some questions here.
Okay.
Let's go back. You said that people raise them to eat them, and obviously Gizmo was very plump, very appetizing. How is Gizmo still? Is not it's not one for to eat. It's a pet. Is that what I've?
Yeah, he's a potbelly pig. So the potbelly pigs originate out of Venezuela, and over there they would have been used as a meat pig, but here in Canada, they're not economically feasible breed of pigs to raise for meat because they don't grow as quickly as our regular commercial breeds, and they tend to be very, very fatty meat when they are butchered. So the potbelly pig has become a popular pet breed because they don't grow quite as big as the Yorkshires or the landrace breeds of pigs. So I guess if you're into having a 300-pound pig in your house, it's an acceptable size compared to a 600-pound Yorkshire sow walking around your living room.
Wow. Okay. Now you also said that people would castrate pigs before they butcher them. That has something to do with the taste, isn't it? Is that right?
Yeah, so boars have very strong scent glands, and they use that to try and bring the sows into heat. So when you're a boar and you're expected to breed, it's very useful for you to have this lovely aroma, but that smell is transferred into the meat and it's called boar taint. So some people will go ahead and castrate these large boars and then continue to feed them for a period of time afterwards to eliminate that smell and bad taste from the meat. And that's exactly what this client had asked me to do. But pigs are excruciatingly difficult to sedate. They have a lot of subcutaneous fat, and in some of these big animals, it's hard to get your needle through all of that subcutaneous fat into the muscle to be able to get effective sedation on them. So I probably stood around the trailer watching this boar not be sedated for about an hour when I finally had an aha moment of this is the only way we're going to get this to do, because it wasn't like I could bring my anesthetic machine out to the trailer and put a mask on that pig and mask him down or anything. So I said to myself, I've got these hugonchous testicles, like, and a mature boar is very well endowed. Like he probably has 6 to 8 inch testicles on him, which have extremely good blood supply. So I said, well, if we can just restrain him enough for me to stick a needle in the testicles, yeah, that your face says it all.
Yeah, my face. Okay, yeah.
I can get my drugs into the bloodstream through this route. So this is in my early days of practice. I'd only been practicing for probably a year and a half. So using pentobarbital, some euthanasia solution to do this sounded like a great idea. I'd read about it, so I said I'd give it a try. And the key was that I would inject the euthanasia solution into the testicles. And as soon as the pig went down, if I just quickly castrated him, and removed the testicles, I removed the rest of the euthanasia solution. He wasn't going to continue to absorb it, so I would get effective anesthesia on this pig without tipping the line and getting euthanasia on the pig. And that's what I ended up doing. I put euthanasia solution into the testicles, castrated him, and the client did bring me some sausage, which I definitely did not have the
Just
balls to try to see if I was effective in removing the boar taint.
wow. All right. Okay. I I want to say there's more questions, but I'm gonna leave that one alone.
I,
Yeah.
I, I suspected that that may have opened more questions than it gave answers.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm no vet, and I know absolutely nothing about medicine. But I could you could you box it and then gas it? Would that work?
Yeah, you definitely could, but you would need such extreme high flow in order to get enough anesthetic drug into the box. Like this boar was 600 pounds. Like this is a big,
Got it.
big animal.
Mm.
So it's not like taking a 7-day-old piglet and putting them in an aquarium and boxing them down that way. It would have taken some substantial carpentry skills, which are not my forte.
Got it. No, I understand that. Ah, this is wow. So some ingenuity that went into this euthanasia. Would you do it again?
It it worked really slick. So I may not have used euthanasia solution again, but I definitely would use the testicle as an injection route to get intravenous drugs into the pig. I definitely would do it again. It worked like a hot damn.
Is it widely used? I wonder if this is something that you could potentially teach.
I think it's I think it's one of those things that probably more veterinarians have done than care to admit because most of us probably think that when this technique gets talked about, the first thing that people think is, wow, that is one redneck veterinarian. But I have also found that to be a successful mixed animal practitioner, you have to be a very good veterinarian. You have to be able to think on your feet, and sometimes you have to think outside the box. So in that particular case, injecting into the testicles with euthanasia solution is a little bit outside of the box, but it was very effective and the job got done, which ultimately working in rural practice, that's what matters the most is doesn't matter how you do it, just get the job done and get a good result. So
Wonderful. Wow. Okay. So when can we expect your book to come out?
I'm just in the early process, so I probably would say I'm gonna need about 12 months here to get finish the writing process. And then this is a totally new adventure for me. So I am gonna have to reach out to some colleagues who have done the book writing thing, as well as I actually have a client that is an author. So I'm gonna ask her for her expertise and guidance on how to work through the publishing process, but I would like to have it out in about a year.
Wonderful. Fantastic. Joydine Green, thank you so much for round two. I encourage everyone to listen to round one, but thank you so much for coming back again. Really do enjoy speaking with you. If anyone is keen or interested into learning more about Bobby Clarke, my mistake. Geez, anyone who's interested in learning more about Bobby Clarke and have a sense of what the double gun looks like, that's what you should be doing. So Bobby Clarke, what year was it?
That I lost my teeth or that Bobby Clarke played in
No,
the NHL?
Bobby Clarke played in the NHL.
He played in the 1980s.
1980s Bobby Clarke, NHL. Google that and you get a sense of the story that Dr. Joydine Green went through. Okay. Joydine, thank you so much for coming back again. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, darling. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And thanks for joining us today. That's all we have time for. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have a story that you would love to share and want to come on the show, drop me an email, reese@ivmsolutions.org. This podcast was brought to you by IVMS, Innovative Veterinary Management Solutions. If you are tired of being a business operator and want to be a business owner, then give me a call. If you've heard of systems like Traction, EOS, Lean, 4DX, and other similar systems, they're all great systems, but none are vet specific. I have taken the best of every system, rebuilt them using our industry KPI standards and your practice core metrics, because every practice is different. I will bring your vision to life. Get your team bought in and aligned to your long-term goals. I will systemize your practice so you can have more time doing what you love to do. Stop having people rely on you. Practice ownership should not be this hard. let's move from being a business operator and move into the business owner category. If this interests you, go to my website, www.ivmsolutions.org. Until next time, take care.